now the third question is this is the third question which I got during my CKA exam. You are managing an WordPress application. The task is to adjust pod resource and limits. First thing is you have to scale down WordPress deployment to replica to 0 and edit the deployment and divide node resources evenly across all 3 pods. Assign fair and equal CPU memory request to each pod and add sufficient overhead to avoid node instability. And ensure that both init container and main container use exactly same resources, requests and limits. So, so in the exam we will have only one node and the deployment out of which three pods, two are already scheduled and one is pending. We have to schedule the other pod, the third one. We have to schedule that. That's a task, and there will be a node on which the resource, a particular resource will be there. We need to divide the resource in a way that all 3 pods get the equal resources, and also nodes should not become unstable. Nodes should not become unready and not ready, right? So nodes should be stable, and also like let's keep a buffer for node, and also give the CPU memory required by all the 3 pods, and assign fair value, right? We have to assign fair value to CPU memory to the pods. And let's update the requisition limits as per the requirement, and then try to schedule the pod. Let's see how we can solve this question. So for solving this question, I have a cluster. Let's check the deployment. So let's see one of the pod is pending. If I check pods, one of the pod is pending. I need to schedule that pod. I have to divide the resources equally. For that, let's check the resources on the device, on the node. Describe node worker 01. So in your exam, it could be master or something name, or not the worker. If I check the resource, still there is capacity. Like if I check here, 8 like total. If I check total, 8 GB of RAM and 4 cores of CPU is there. And how much the deployment is asking? Let's check. Step deployment WordPress. Deployment is asking 1800, and memory is under the limit, but CPU, I suppose CPU is more. 4 cores means 1.8. 18 into 3. How much is 18 into 3? XPR 18 3 BC 54. Like we need 5400 mm for scheduling this pod. We need one. So now we have only four cores, right? We need more 14 cores to schedule this pod. Schedule this one pod. So let's decrease the resources in the deployment and try to see. Let's try to scale down the deployment. Let's scale down the deployment. Scale deployment WordPress replicas equal to 0. I've scaled down a deployment. Let's edit the deployment. Let's edit the deployment, and then let's see how. Let's edit the deployment, and then let's scale up the deployment to 3 again, and let's see if it gets scheduled. So how much we have on node? We have 4 cores and also 8 GB. 4 cores means we can give 1 core for 1 pod, and then we can 8 GB means we can give 200 MI for single pod, and there'll be some more resources available on the node to not to become unstable, right? So we can give 200 to 1000 for 1000 for CPU, millicores for CPU, and memory 200 MI we can give. Let's edit the deployment. Let's see if it gets scheduled. And also we have to init container also we have to modify, right? Keep both, as the question suggests, we have to keep both same for both, right? So I modified this also. Let's save. Let's scale up to 3 now. Now let's see if it gets scheduled or not. It is scheduled, right? So yeah, that's what we wanted. It is running now. All 3 pods are running. First only 2 pods were running, right? As per my understanding, only 2 pods were running. Yeah, one was pending. Now all 3 are running. So this is how you resolve this issue. We have to segregate the 3 pods resources equally so that it gets scheduled. So I had one node, right? 8 GB of memory and 4 cores. So in the exam also, you might not have the same configuration of node. You might have some different configuration of node. You have to just change the resources and limit and request in the pod section, and the pods will get scheduled. So this is how you solve this question. Now let's move to fourth question.